What's up, baby dolls? So recently, the PulseChain price action chart has been going down, which is the opposite of up. A lot of red candle vibes and stuff. But I want to help you see the preparation you need for this year if it takes longer than you expect. Okay. Now, of course, man, if you don't like it, just click sell and leave. Like, no one's holding anybody hostage. All right. But everybody's motivation is very, very low, seeing that we are dumping into this year. PulseChain, if it closes here, man, it's flipped red on the weekly super chain, which is just shocking, man. This is this Interpol thing, this Eurocuck Interpol lactating man boobs. Whatever, it is what it is. XRP, when they defeated SEC, by the way, XRP did a fast 2x, which would bring it back actually above green. It would make it flip green, but then it retraced the move. However, that was 2023. So that was before the Bitcoin halving year. So we're still deep in a bear market pretty much for altcoins. So it doesn't necessarily mean if SEC gets defeated by Richard Hart, gets a dismissal, it doesn't mean that we definitely have to go back down like XRP. We can actually go up and be like, oh, let's just continue. That's possible as it continues the cycle, okay? But what I want to tell you is Hex, remember friends, Hex, its profitable run only went up after Richard Hart thought that Ethereum topped out. And I've shown this in a video for you before, but this is the Hex ETH ratio. So if you notice, where is day one adoption amplified price? Right here. Okay, so pretty much it went down, up, no one made any money, and it only came back to money when, look at this, it was after Richard thought the Ethereum top was in. Now here's the thing, we topped out early in 2021. So it was actually amazing foresight for him to believe that the cycle was over so early, when you think about it. Now whether or not you believe he pumped or he didn't, like I said, it doesn't matter. Just interesting data point. The top was in when, sorry, the top was in for Ethereum. Richard Hart believed the top was in, and then Hex started moving up. So if we're looking at PulseChain, I've got some dates here, all right? I've got some dates here. This is May 2025, all right? This is when, like, this is funny. This is Eric Wall's basically betting price date. But here's 2026, friends. The beginning of next year. And also we'll just go to June this year. So around this. See this box here? So basically, somewhere in this window of time, Ethereum is expected to basically, I guess, top out with Bitcoin. Expected. Around somewhere here. We can happen early. It can happen early, or it can literally, friends, it could make us wait to January 2026. I'm not joking, because Ethereum topped out in January 2018 after Bitcoin topped out. And I can show you now the price chart of Ethereum back in 2017. Look at this. So Ethereum, friends, in 2017 December, look, it hits January 2018 and it goes from $700 to 1,400. It literally does another whopping 2x at the very, very end. And that was pretty much all over. And then actually right here, we had the final big alt season, big moves up in these final 2 weeks. Okay, it was actually January 2018. So I'm just showing you what happened last time Donald Trump was in and we had high rates. We actually had high interest rates back there. Went from 0 to around 2.5%. But the yield curve was pricing in 2% rates. Like, there's so many similarities. And Donald Trump was in. And yeah, I mean, if we're repeating the spirit of 2017 alt season, then that's what we would get. Okay, so if we go back to that PulseChain price chart, right here, you can see that this window of time, as much as we want it to happen early, it can literally happen January next year. It could, like, and here's the thing, right? I'm just telling you, like, if 2017 repeated, this is what would happen, okay? So Ethereum will top out January of next year. And then so it tops out, and then as it dumps, so it's got to dump down first to confirm the top. In those next 4 to 6 weeks, PulseChain probably starts climbing the same way Hex Ethereum did. Right here, okay? Now, if you actually check it out, right, when there was a China dump that happened, yeah, and then, see, look at this, friends, it started moving up. It still took, like, about another month after that point to be like, whoa, we're actually starting to move up. Like, wow, we're actually up to the top now. See, now we're in June 2021. But yeah, I think like we had the crash here. Basically, the China bans Bitcoin around here. And yeah, it takes like 4 to 6 weeks. You see that? Let's just say it takes 4 to 6 weeks. So what I'm doing, I'm just mapping it out one for one. Assume that happens. So if we go and we assume, okay, let's go to Ethereum. Maybe it gets a repeat again, friends. Here's the thing, right? Ethereum, I think it tops out. I remember even Richard knew this pattern. After Bitcoin tops out, Ethereum tops out 28 days later. I think it happened two out of 2 times, right? That's how we believe the top was really in May 2021. So it was actually the old season top that happened. So if we repeat that, maybe we go to 7K, come back down, scare everyone out, and then by January, let's say December goes up, right? In January has a final splurge. Ethereum goes to 14K, something like that. Okay. So in the midst of this, what I'm doing now, I'm showing you we are now in, what is this, like January, in the midst of it coming down in those 4 to 6 weeks. If it repeated, PulseChain's moving up. But here's the thing, because then that's a long time when you think about it. Because like the bull markets keep going and going and narrows, but there's a silver lining to these, okay? And it's going to come to do with pDAI. So I've drawn this scenario. We run all the way to the end. Now, let's go for 2 things. So does that mean we don't go up? No. Obviously, I don't know anything, friends. I'm just guessing. I'm just a guy literally on the internet, friends. I'm literally wearing a hat that says begging for a pagan, okay? In the previous cycle, remember, this is Hex versus ETH, all right? So if you go to January, beginning right here, this is January. By the time the dump happened, it's up about 60%, almost to 2x versus ETH. So what do I actually calculate there? I calculated that whatever Ethereum did, Hex went up around 60% to a 2x. Okay. So what you can do is just come back and look at this price chart of Hex. You can go to January and you can go to the May period of here when everything dumped. Look at that. See how we went up about a 6x. See this, friends? So you go to January, yeah, it's around here. I think Hex was about, what's this number up here? Actually, yeah, tops out 7x, which makes sense because Ethereum went up 5x in that period of time. You can actually see right now around 5. So if Ethereum went up 5, Hex went up about 7. But it didn't look like it was a big winner, right? So I've actually got it right here. If you go to January, right here, around here, wherever the price is. Yeah, so there you go. Ethereum goes up, what, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're starting to see this pattern here appearing where, like, we're just barely beating ETH. Okay, so it's not winning, but you still go up. Let's say that repeats again. Now, Ethereum is in its 3rd cycle curse, and we can actually compute. What I'm trying to do is prepare everyone, right? If Ethereum goes up from here, let's say it goes up to like 7K, and we repeated the same, that's a 2x. So that could be PulseChain goes, I know this is dog shit from here, PulseChain goes up about 3 to 4 to 5, let's say on average 4. Okay, now you're like, wait, man, yeah, but that's wave 1. That's wave 1. What if Ethereum actually goes to 14K by the end of that, within the next 12 months? This number that Ethereum rose is about, it's about total, it's about like, 3.5 to 4. It implies PulseChain is up around an 8. Okay, now I've computed this number here for you from before. How much would 8x take us up? And it's roughly, you're not going to be too happy, right? It's like 3, 4, 5x day 1 sec. But remember, that is now beginning the end game. Now we actually start in the real end of game show. End of game show. Now, I know a lot of people saying, well, man, if this plays out, it would feel like straight robbery because you feel like you've missed the whole bull market and you have to maybe hold off for this mystical unicorn thing at the very, very end, maybe. Yeah, but that's why, remember I told you, friends, the silver lining. The silver lining is, firstly, at least you move up. So if PulseChain's up like 8x from here, there are core coin. So that's the core coin up. It's up 8x. So you'll probably find, you know, Pika, Tangang stuff. They'll be up 16, 24, 32x. That's possible. Okay. Number one. But that's not game over at that point. Most importantly is pDAI. And right now it's at 1.1 cents. So it has been dumping alongside everything else in Pulse, PLS. But actually, funny enough, friends, I have the pDAI PLS ratio. Man, it is only down 30, 40% from that actually top. It's still the same from November's price. So this is the pDAI PLS ratio, okay? But if we go back to the USD price, because no one cares about this ratio, right? You care about, hey, you want to go to $1. Well, if this thing can show signs that it's on its way to like 10 cents, 15 throughout the year, you will have, if you're long, I'm long, okay, you will be very, very motivated to continue to stay on the bull. So it feels like it all comes down to pDAI. Why? Because we'll know deep down, we're like, hey man, it's no coincidence this unbacked Ponzi stablecoin pDAI with his mystical unicorn narrative, it's no coincidence it's now at, say, 10 cents. Because at 10 cents, I'll be euphoric, literally euphoric. Because in my mind, if we can get to 10 to 15 cents, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. It's going to take a bit more time than that, but it's actually happening. Like, that's what I'll believe. But right now, we're not there, right? We're at 1. Okay, I would love to see some sort of move up throughout the year where we just get to 10. I know 10 cents is not $1. It doesn't mean it stops there. I'm not getting out 10 cents. I'm just telling you that would be the signal. Like, okay, maybe we have to hold the whole cycle. Maybe Ethereum does peak out either in December this year or January of next year, whatever. Okay, remember, friends, I took the worst case in terms of the longest. I assume 2017 repeated. If you do the mirror fractals of Bitcoin is expected to top out October the 6th this year. If you do Uncle Bobby's 288K thing. So something's going to be a bit different this time. So remember, in 2 out of 2 times, Bitcoin topped out something like, it was either like 28 days or whatever after, sorry, Ethereum tops out 28 days after Bitcoin tops out the cycle. Whatever that day count is. Okay, but maybe Ethereum just makes a new high going into January next year. I don't know. I don't know that. You and I, it's outside of our control. That's up to Richard to figure out, okay? But that's what that silver lining is. It's telling me if we can see this pDAI just move up to not even 60, just get to 10 cents. Just get to this 10 cents. We'll know, even though PulseChain is taking its time because we're waiting, I guess, for Ethereum and everything to top out, that'll all be worth it. To me, still worth it. And now, of course, you've got to do contingencies. What if pDAI is not moving? Well, then, like, okay, well, it's full on faith. It's full on faith. Like, I don't blame anyone if you click sell and leave. I'm not, because I've done all the research. If you go back 4 years ago, if you sold early, man, you lose. Like, friends, just imagine alt season wave 1, right? Alt season wave 1, okay? That's May. It peaks in May 2021. If you gave up on Hex in May 2021 and you think it's over, this was pretty much a failure, by the way, because remember, this is the Hex USD chart. Hex barely matched Ethereum. All it did was stop there. And you can see it from the Hex ETH chart. This is the Hex ETH ratio, okay? This chart, extremely important. Here is the adoption amplifier price. Look at that. It just basically just comes back to break even. It's like hitting back. So what would that equivalent be? What would this price equivalent be? Well, maybe that price equivalent is the Pulse ETH ratio, which I've got right here, which is actually getting clobbered to the behind right now. It's actually like almost new making lows, 2% away from low. But you see this line, friends? This is our sacrifice price from 3.5 years ago. That's why assume this is like the day one adoption amplifier price, which I've shown you here. Maybe that is equivalent. Okay, that's all I'm just doing, right? Just guessing. Maybe it's at the equivalent. So like it goes up, comes back down. Maybe like by alt season wave 1, whenever it finishes, May, April, June, July, I don't know when. Maybe it comes back to here. And you think, oh, okay, we're back to break even. And see, a lot of people will capitulate. When it's finally done, alt season wave 1, they'll probably capitulate. They'll go, well, I'm done, man. I waited all this time. And then, yeah, we have the final cycle. So you're basically playing for the whole cycle. And also, friends, I've shown a lot of things out here. Like, wait, I've shown a lot of just the evidence, basically. Richard, it makes I hate to say it, man, it's true, but it makes most sense for him to pump it at the end because you have the most money built up, the most FOMO built up, you have the least vampires who've taken money from you, you have the most mind share and attention, you have the most people willing to just jump in because they've missed every single freaking alt season because no one's retired by the end of a cycle. That's why everybody keeps holding. If people were all retired by the end of a cycle, no one would be buying. They'd all be selling, you see, but it doesn't happen like that. So it makes most sense. And if you lose out your singular data point, he thought it was all over in May 2021. Alt season wave 1 was the top, actually, pretty much. It was the retail peak for 95% of coins. So he thought it was over then. Okay, sweet. That's pretty much like he was basically when he guessed it was over, he was guessing it was the end. That's interesting to know. Not interesting, not just it's critical to know. Okay, so whenever he thought it was literally the end. So if he thinks Ethereum $7,000 ain't it, okay, I guess nothing's happened from here, you know. So that's why I'm just showing you all these. But am I going to be nervous? No, but I really would love to see like if we can get pDAI. What can we do? You and I can't do anything, man. You're just holding, of course. But if we see pDAI eventually move its way up, okay. March, April, May, June, and it can get to this like 10-cent number. It's like, okay, we're going somewhere. This thing, it's gonna happen. Okay. That's pretty much what I'm leaning towards. I don't want to like lean on just this pDAI thing. It's because of the mystery events. Because you know, look, just remind you as well, if pDAI gets to $1, it completes the puzzle where Richard Hart now has a stable coin and he can use the OA address. He can mint more pDAI with a thickened bridge. And he can mint more pDAI and use that to bunny hop through the liquidity pools and pretty much hyper loop up PulseChain core coins. And you can hopefully get your 50x, 100x, just like do stupid numbers, okay? But you need pDAI there. You need pDAI there, thicken the bridge. Alternatively, maybe you think, hey, he's just going to rotate all the origin address coins. I don't think so. He's going to do that. I don't even know if there's enough money to do that. But like either way, you and I, like he's got it all figured out. We don't have it figured out. But what I've done here, I've now presented to you this case here of something to watch in case it happens in the future. Because what I'm doing, friends, is like I'm also preparing, like I said, I'm preparing you. This ratio is absolutely dog shit, okay? And like if it just comes back here, I know everyone's going to be really upset. You're like, dude, because everyone's going to think the cycle's over. And you're like, dude, by the way, this will be the 4-year point since the sacrifice. You're like, wow, I waited 4 years. I'm actually at a loss 4 years, right? But yeah, that would be, remember, like if you want to know, just from today, that would be Pulse doing a 4x versus Ethereum. So if Ethereum does a 2 to get to 7, and we did 4 times 2, we get 8x. That's why there's still some, I can't even call it meat on the bone. It's basically just like tiny bits of cartilage. Tiny bits of cartilage. I can barely call it cartilage. Like you barely got any lollipop left on the stick here at that point. If PulseChain just doesn't as Ethereum's out there, because you know, we all know gaming came back, NFTs came back, metaverse came back, like AI, memes, they're all pumping way harder than all new stuff out here. But it would be interesting though, because like if you were to take a bet though, right? I mean, man, pDAI here, it's back near 100x to $1. All right, it's almost at 1 cent. If it comes back to this wick here, it's under 1 cent. So at least, hey, it's another perspective just to think about these, okay? So yes, we're hedging ourselves mentally. Some people say, of course, it could be cope. Fans, of course, you don't know the answers, bro. No one has all the answers. But I'm just telling you, like, as it progresses, I am not expecting big moves soon. I'm not. However, I will feel euphoric if I see pDAI up. That's actually everything in a nutshell. If I see pDAI up, it's not going to probably do this, friends, but if I just see pDAI up by like April, May, June, July, it's like 10 cents. Even though everything is still poop, I guess with PulseChain core coins and everyone's expectations, and like Eric Wall has won the bet, etc. This at least gives you something to look forward to in the future. And yeah, pretty much it's outside of our hands at this point. Okay. Look, I don't know. This is a net seller's year, and yeah, man, this. I guess the believer's cycle, man. Like, man, it'd be a big thing if this happened as well. But man, it's gonna take some time. What if Ethereum does peak in January of next year? That means PulseChain starts pumping in Feb. And then it goes in March, April, May next year. Like that's another year and a half. But hey, okay, what if Ethereum peaks in October this year? Okay, well then, okay, we start moving in November, December, January. Everybody thinks it's new paradigm. You see what I mean? But what I've done is I've just planned for the longest case. As I've always told you, man, like you take the longest term view, friends. I know it really, I know it does wear you out and drain you out and stuff out here. But there will be people capitulating, and that's fine. That's fine. Just what I would be doing, I'm like, well, if this thing's kind of, I guess, got to work out, I would collect pDAI as a core in these dips. I would personally do that because you're betting on that barbell move of it playing out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, friends, you're pretty much all in. Most people already in at this point. We can't do much except wait. Like, subscribe, bell button, catch you soon.